not here because I want to be here. I hate public speaking. But Covenant School is my community, my son's school. It's filled with staff that have become friends and people we love dearly. When I first met Catherine Kuntz, our beloved head of school 3 years ago, she told me Covenant was intentional to make sure every child was loved and known and prepared, and those weren't empty words. During our 3 years there at school, I've witnessed nearly every staff member call my son by name. They know his interests, his strengths, his struggles. They know our whole family. On March 27th at 10:38 a.m., I was in Green Hills about a mile from the school when a friend reached out to ask where my 5-year-old son Noah was. She heard on social media there was an active shooter. Tweet from the Nashville Fire Department that they were responding to an active aggressor. I said, no, it's a drill. He has to be a drill. I hung up and called my dear friend who's the librarian. She answered with a sound of terror in her voice that I don't have words to describe, screaming and crying. She managed to get out the words to tell me she and her son were okay. Her son was home sick. I knew it wasn't a drill. My own son Noah was okay. He was getting a haircut with his dad, but the rest of our community was inside that building. My friends, our children, so many people we love in that building, our safe space. My 2-year-old and I parked. We ran down Hillsborough Pike as fast as we could to the school. The roads were blocked off. There were cops everywhere. We hadn't even received word from the school yet. I texted our preschool mom's thread, active shooter at Covenant. I could barely type the words. My body was shaking. At that moment, that innocent mom's tech thread was forever changed. From a place that we shared pictures and reminded each other of dress-up days to now coping through trauma and things parents should never have to discuss. I frantically called friends promising to try to find their babies. We got word quick from the school confirming the nightmare and the shooter was down and a reunification site was in place. I got there as fast as I could and my husband and Noah joined. I won't ever be able to describe what it was like sitting in that church. I didn't feel like I was in my own body. Holding our friends, praying, waiting to hear if their kids were alive, piecing together things that people saw and heard. All we knew was 7 people were dead from the news. Texted friends, teachers, begging, please just text us the word safe. We got confirmation that our son's teachers were okay and started hearing back from others, his art teacher he adores, his PE teacher that he loves because he'll make mischief with him, and our dear Pastor Sullivan. My dad drove an hour with the kid to get the kids so they wouldn't witness any more agony, but not before the first mom was told her kid was gone. Those screams and sorrowing wails. I worked in pediatric oncology for 13 years. I held kids in my arms as they died way too many times. Nothing compared to the scream of that mom. We kept learning about more staff members, but no one saw or heard Catherine. We all knew. We knew there's nowhere else she would be other than in that church with us and with the students. My best friend kept asking if anyone had seen her dear friend. No one had. She knew too. She knew what it meant if she wasn't in that reunification room by this time. The last 3 weeks have been deeply painful. Our days are spent hearing children as young as 3 years old describe in horrific detail what they saw and heard. 3rd graders saw the dead bodies of their friends, not just coffins.
That's right.
Their classmates.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
They sat in those rooms shielded by their teachers with bullets flying over them. We walked in that school the other day and saw the bullet holes. We saw where those bodies laid and where the staff laid. We went through classrooms that looked like they were frozen in time with March 27th still written on the boards. The trauma's not going to dissipate. It's not going to leave us or our children. It'll just find a home within us and we'll learn to live with it. The most painful question I have had to answer from my 5-year-old, who keeps proudly telling me how brave his teachers were and how they knew exactly how to keep him safe from the bad guy. But he asked, Mommy, how did they know to do the practice? Has this happened before? And I said, yes. Is that a lot, Mommy? I said, yes. He said, so Mommy, this shooter's dead, but more can come. We had everything. We had good security. We had locked doors. We had intense active shooter training. The teachers heard AR-15 shot in the school and had to practice locking down for that. They had everything. Our cops are heroes. They didn't hesitate a second. It's not enough.
And the one thing, let me ask you this, honey. The one thing you did not have was banned assault weapons.
We don't have banned assault weapons. Sure, we're gonna add the bulletproof glass now, but what about when they're on the playground? What about when they're playing soccer?
Let me ask our brother to come behind, because one of the things I want folk to hear from you and across the nation, I'm holding you because I want you all to say to her, but you won't bear this grief alone. Will you say that? You won't bear this grief alone. I want you to ask him something as my brother comes, because he needs to share the killing that happened there. You said, and I want the nation to hear what you said. You said, I have worked in pediatric oncology, and I have not heard screams worse than what was experienced there. You know, the folk that say the real problem is mental illness, they are right. It is a form of mental illness when you can hear this kind of pain and still be more interested in guns than you are in saving lives. Thank you so much for sharing. I know it wasn't easy, but thank you.